You know, Jagannath answered his prayers, and on February 6th, 1874, his son was born in Puri. You know, so when he was born, his umbilical cord was around his neck, giving an impression he was born with a Brahmin thread. So that year, Jagannath chariot during the Rath Yatra, the chariot stopped right before their home, and for 3 days actually the chariot stopped. Jagannath chariot stopped right before Bhaktinath Thakur's home. Taking this as opportunity, the mother of Saraswati Thakur, she brought this baby and him before placed him at the feet of Jagannath. And immediately garland fell down. Garland of Jagannath Swami fell on the boy. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur understood he is the boy sent by Lord Jagannath to support his preaching. They named him Vimala Prasad, and his mother taught him, all the scriptures. At the age of 7, Vimal Prasad, who we would call him later as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, mastered Bhagavad Gita by age 7. Amazing, you know. And he learned proofreading, he learned the art of printing. So, in his childhood, there was one pastime we need to discuss. He was hardly 4 year old. One day, his father Bhaktivinoda Thakur brought mangoes. As a child of 4, when he saw the mangoes, he said, "This is mine, this is mine." Bhaktivinoda Thakur saw that and said, "What you are trying to eat, which is not prasad? How can you do this?" The father mildly rebuked his son. Saraswati Thakur took a vow that he followed for the rest of the life. What is that vow he took? He would never eat any mango. Wow. He never ate any ripened mango in his life. Whenever somebody would bring, a ripened mangoes to him, he would say, "I'm an offender. I tried to eat a mango that was not offered to Krishna." He never ate. So at the age of 7, Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave Vimal Prasad a Kurma deity to worship. And he started worshipping Kurma Dev at the age of 7. When he came to 5th grade, he on his own uh, developed a shorthand. Shorthand means, by name Picanto. Shorthand means when somebody is dictating you, you'll write it fast. The later you'll decode it. So that's what's called shorthand. So he came up with a font called Picanto. And later, in 1892, he joined Sanskrit College. He studied Vedas and other books from the famous professor Pradvidhar Sharma. And 5 years later, he himself started his own school where he started teaching Sanskrit. At the age of 25, he mastered mathematics, astronomy, and Sanskrit. And he published Surya Siddhanta. So because of that name, because of that thing, he received a name Sarasvati. Means a scholar. And 1895, at the age of probably 21. He took up a small job, you know, in in Tripura government as editor, but he gave it up when he saw there's a lot of problems in the job, and But at the age of 24, he traveled all the holy places with his father, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. And Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur told him to receive initiation from Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, who was a very accomplished, liberated soul, Siddha. To cut the story short, um, he pursued, he made so many attempts to receive initiation. But finally, seeing his determination and enthusiasm, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj initiated him at the age of 26. So then, in order to establish a worldwide movement, he took a vow. What is a vow? He understood to establish a worldwide movement definitely needs money and manpower. But more than these two, one thing that is very much needed. Can anyone guess what it is? What is it needed to establish a worldwide movement? Definitely money and manpower, no doubt, externally. But what is that is really needed internally?
Purity is the
That's
core.
it. You need grace. You need the grace of Lord Chaitanya, grace of Krishna, Radha and Krishna. So, to receive the grace, you need to have the purity. So, what he did in 1905, he took a vow of chanting 192 rounds for 9 to 10 years. He wanted to finish chanting 1 billion names. How many? 1 billion names. Wow. Every day he would chant 192 rounds for that. To attract the grace, to attract the mercy. One time, for that, he moved to Mayapur, moved to, the Navadvip, and he established a small hut for himself, and he started chanting every day 192 rounds. During that time, 1 year, there was a big cyclone, and we have no idea how the cyclones hit Calcutta and Mayapur. His roof flew off, and he was exposed to rain continuously, rain and cold. He knew if he had tried to repair the roof, he would not be able to finish his rounds. So he did not try to repair the roof, but he sat there with an umbrella, and he finished his vow of 190 rounds every day during the days of cyclone. Haribol. So that was his determination, actually. So um then on the order of his father guidance, he started preaching, actually. Started preaching, and there was a lot of opposition by caste Goswamis, and there are apasampradayas, means the bogus traditions They were using Lord Chaitanya's name, but in the name of Lord Chaitanya, so many wrong things were happening actually in the name of Radha and Krishna. So he would preach very aggressively. There were around 15 bogus traditions, 14 to 15 bogus traditions those days. Bhaktivinoda Thakur would mention these things actually. No? So he became very disheartened when he saw the opposition. You know, one day Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me finish this first. In 1911, there was actually in India at that time there are a group of Vaishnavas, group of Brahmins, caste Brahmins. Brahmins always felt they are the top caste in the society. You know, and Vaishnavas, you know, they're devotees. So there is a serious conflict. Who is greater? So Brahmanas always considered the Vaishnavas, you know, okay, they are sentimentalists. We are Brahmins by birth. We have the right to lead the society. So this became a very serious uh, problem, and it caused conflict. So 1911, actually no, they needed somebody to resolve this conflict. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was very sick. So what he did, he sent his son Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur attended that meeting organized by Brahmins. They invited him to speak, and quoting scriptures, he glorified the position of Brahmins first. And hearing that Brahmanas were impressed, they never heard this type of quotations anywhere. So when he glorified them so much, they became really happy. He said, Brahmana is the highest position in the society, and he really glorified the position of Brahmins. But then he said, quoting Shastra, Vaishnavas are transcendental. They don't belong to this world. A Vaishnava is already Brahman, but Brahman is not Vaishnava. So when he started quoting scriptures, the people became so elated. Nobody offered any opposition. But the devotees were so elated. After the lecture was over, they caught him, put his feet in a bucket of water, and that water they sprinkled on everyone's head. This is the person. This is the person. Wow. And later, 1914, Bhaktivinoda Thakur disappeared from this world. And 1915 is Guru Maharaj, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. When both left the planet, Saraswati Thakur felt lonely because he was alone, and the mission was the preaching was tough. Then one day he had Lord Chaitanya with all the Goswamis, all his associates, Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar Pandit, Advaita Acharya, Srivas Thakur, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Jiva Goswami, they all came. Lord Chaitanya said, don't worry about the money and manpower. We will send money from the spiritual world. You take care of the preaching. We will help you. Wow. Then he picked up courage. He realized he needed sannyas to continue his preaching mission, preaching activity. So, in not having found anybody qualified to receive sannyas, what he did, he, he sat before the picture of his Guru Maharaj, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, and he took sannyas. And he became Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Should I continue?
Yes, Prabhuji. Very nice.
1919, what he did, he started a conglomeration of devotees called Visva Vaishnava Rajya Sabha. So he started this, like, Visva Vaishnava Rajya Sabha means, it's an international society of devotees. February 5th, 1919, he started that. And he started preaching in Mayapur. But actually, between 1920 and 1915, I just want to tell you one story. I heard this before. So after Bhaktivinoda Thakur left the world, the preaching in Calcutta stopped. So then one of the followers of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he came to Navadvip, requesting people, the big scholars and the sannyasis to come to Calcutta and preach. This is a pure bhakti tradition. Come and preach. I want to assist. Is there anybody to do that? Somebody said there is only one person. He is son of Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself. Right now he is doing his sadhana, and doing his 192 round vow every day. So he's the one capable. So you ask him to lead the mission. So where does he stay? We don't know, but in the evening, he would come to take bath in Ganga. So he waited. In the evening, one skinny monk came running, saying, Gaur Hari, Gaur Hari, Jai Sachinandan, Gaur Hari. When he saw him, he understood this is the one. So this gentleman went to him and said, Sir, I request that you come and preach. I want to assist you. So let us go and spread the message of Lord Chaitanya. Then Saraswati Thakur said, immediately, as he was talking, he jumped in Ganga. And he turned to him and said, Who are you to preach? He put his hand in the horizon and said, as sun was setting, we can't preach. Lord Chaitanya will preach. Can you see the Panchatattva in the horizon? They will preach. He put his hand in the sky. So this gentleman thought, this person is crazy. How can he preach? But same person, after he finished his 190 to 1 billion names, one day he went to that person's home and knocked his door. And that person opened the door, cleanly shaven, effulgent. Saraswati Thakur standing at the doorstep. Come, let us go and preach the message of Lord Chaitanya. There is not so much time left. The gentleman was so inspired, they could register Gaudiya Math the next day itself. So he acquired, what is that? That purity and adhikar, the qualification to preach. Then he started his preaching. 1920, he introduced first time Navadip Parikrama, governmental Parikrama. And also 1920, um, Janmashtami, he established deities at Gaudiya Math at number 1 Ultadanga Junction Road, Calcutta. I just want to tell you one thing. I just came from India very recently. I went to see this place. He used to preach in Mayapur. One day, one gentleman told him, "You are preaching in Mayapur." Those days, Mayapur was a jungle, big forest. Calcutta was a metropolis. So he told, "Who will come to Mayapur to listen your class? Come to Calcutta and preach here. You can find the elite class here." So Saraswati Thakur understood. And he tried to acquire a building. You want to know his missionary spirit? You can't believe. 12 grams of gold those days is 12 grams of gold was 17 rupees those days. But he rented a building worth 50 rupees monthly rent. Amazing, right? You know? So, see, his desire to preach. He was very poor, he had no income, but his desire to preach was very intense. When the gold was 17 rupees, he rented a building with a monthly rent 50 rupees. Means he was really venturing risk. Where will you, for a non-profit religious organization, where will you get the 50 rupees? Those days, I'm talking about 100 plus years. So he was venturing risks. Actually, I went to that place maybe actually a month ago. I really loved it. I loved his courage. You know, the way he was he dared it. So why I'm telling this, what can we take? One is what can we take from his example? Purity. Purity of the purpose. Even if it was not there till yesterday, that's okay. Today, I will try to do that. Second thing, venturing risk. We don't need to spend money like that. But in cold season, let me go and distribute books. Then you say it's very cold. All right, then don't distribute in cold. When the summer comes, distribute in the summers. Now the preaching is important because our movement is really tough for Westerners. Why? You have to give up this. Somebody will say, instead of giving up all these things, I'll give up coming to this place. That is the easiest thing. What do you think? You agree? It's not easy. So then how do we attract people? There is a saying, you want to distribute 100 books or you want to distribute 10 books. You decide to get 50 no's. Approach 50 people and get 50 no, 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 no. So to get 50 no's, you need to meet 70 people. Definitely 20 people or 10 people will take 10 books. This is a common old strategy. Get 50 no's, 50 negative ones, negative replies. You're able to understand, you're able to follow what I'm speaking. Can I continue?
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Thank you. So, actually, when I went and saw that place 120 years ago, maybe at least 110 years ago, he was venturing a financial risk to open a temple when he had no funds. But this place was very crucial. This place was in a very strategic place. You know, the place of Calcutta. You know, maybe in the financial district. He rented it. It's not a so big. It's not a big place. But it was the heart of Calcutta. So ground, what is that? First floor, few families, few devotees live. Top floor, he himself would live. Exactly 4 years later, who came to the place? Srila Prabhupada, Haribol. See, that's how Krishna, when we take risks, we see nothing is happening. No, something will happen. Prabhupada said, our Prabhupada, we don't want 10 stars, we want one moon. That's it. We want only one moon. I can give my life for Krishna. I can give everything for Krishna. Or at least I can give my time for Krishna. I can give my resources to Krishna. Not tomorrow, today. We want only one person to begin with. So I opened that a few years later, 1920, Janmashtami, he installed deities in the Toltadanga Junction Road. That's when Prabhupada, that time his name was Abhay Babu, his friend said, come, let us go and see this sadhu. Prabhupada said, I have seen so many sadhus, they're all bogus, they come to my home. My father entertains them. No, he is different. Okay, just to please, his name is Narendra Mullik, So he agreed. Then I went to see that place upstairs. Now they have made a nice, what is that? They put a barricade, nice flowers, they decorated. This is the holy place. Actually, world has changed because of that meeting, actually. World has become definitely a better place for tens and thousands of millions of people just because of that one meeting. So as he was trying to settle down, as he was trying to sit down, Saraswati Thakur said, you know, you young boys, why don't you preach the message of Lord Chaitanya? Why don't you spread the message of pure devotion? Given in scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Prabhupada thought, we have just come, we have not even settled down. You are giving us instruction. He said, as a young man, Prabhupada that time he was a Gandhian. Um, he wanted India to get independence. So he said, who will listen to the message of Lord Chaitanya? When India is under British, first we should get independence. Then you can spread the message of Lord Chaitanya. Saraswati Thakur said, Krishna consciousness doesn't depend on any political situation. Politics means donkeys will go and horses will come. Or horses will go and donkeys come. Donkeys will come. Politics can never change the world. Krishna consciousness is an emergency. It doesn't depend on any political situation. Prabhupada felt he was soundly defeated. That thing happened in one Ultadanga Junction Road. Later, in the same year, I know how many of you been to Chaitanya Mat Mayapur, and how many of you have seen Shyamkund Radhakund? Did anyone see Shyamkund Radhakund in Chaitanya Mat? Okay, you have not been. In 1920, what he did, he established Shyamkund Radhakund, and of course, they are definitely not different from Shyamkund Radhakund of Vrindavan. And what is that? But then, very interestingly, today's Bangladesh, those days, the capital those days is Dhaka. So Lord Chaitanya's parents are all from Dhaka, and there are so many people, you know, practicing Gaudiya Vaishnavism. The problem is, um, they were under the shelter of bogus people. Saraswati Thakur sent his disciples, and when they went there, they met with opposition actually. They met with opposition. Um, uh, the stones were pelted on them, but they didn't give it up. They continued their preaching, and and eventually established a Gaudiya Math. A year before, people were rejecting them, but a year later, people started following them. But some people didn't like it. So one day, Saraswati Thakur was holding a procession. Suddenly, from nowhere, the hooligans, the antisocial elements, they came. They started pelting the stones, and that time, actually, they were taking Radha Govinda on a procession on an elephant. Everyone thought nobody would dare, attack the deities when they were there. But when they were throwing the stones and they were pelting the stones, immediately what they did, they brought the deities down and the deities were taken away. And then what happened? These hooligans, they brought sticks, they started attacking. That is when this Bhakti Prajnan Keshav Maharaj, later, that time he was actually brahmachari. So he exchanged his clothes with Saraswati Thakur, and he took Saraswati Thakur saffron, and and Saraswati Thakur took his white clothes, and Saraswati Thakur, he disappeared. So there was opposition actually. Then 1920 and 23, he was going through health issues. He never started preaching. He also he has tried to establish a mutt in Puri, Bhubaneswar, and Alalnad. And he started inaugurating. So he felt Brahad Mridanga. What is Brahad Mridanga? When you play Mridanga, you'll hear in the temple. But he felt printing press is a bigger Mridanga. By distributing books, you can spread the message of Krishna consciousness. So what he did, he has started establishing printing presses. He even started a daily newspaper. Hare Krishna. Somebody asked him, if you have a daily newspaper, you will eventually run out of the news. He said, definitely not. Why? Every city has 4 to 5 newspapers. They don't run out of news. Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. 3/4 is spiritual world and 1/4 is material world. 1/4 filled with unlimited number of universes, unlimited number of multiverse. So why do you think we will run out of the news eventually? Definitely not. And saying that, he started a daily newspaper actually. And around 1926 to 30, he tried to establish Sanatan Gaudiya Math in Kasi, Benares. And in 1930, Kumbh Mela, he went to Allahabad and he started Rupa Gaudiya Math, Rupa Goswami Gaudiya Math. That's when the devotees went to establish Math there. And they asked, we need some help. And they got the message, there is one pious devotee here. His name is Abhay Babu. Do you know who that Abhay Babu is?
Srila Prabhupada.
That's it, Prabhupada actually. So then what happened? They all came and approached Prabhupada. Prabhupada was very happy to help them. And Prabhupada was instrumental and in the manifestation of Allahabad, in the Allahabad Gaudimat, Rupa Goswami Gaudimat. Then Saraswati Thakur came and 1933, Srila Prabhupada received initiation. What is that? Akhilananda Brahmachari. He introduced Srila Prabhupada to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and recommended him for initiation. And Saraswati Thakur said, I have identified him. He listens very attentively. I will initiate him. 1933, Srila Prabhupada received he received initiation, got the name Abhay Charanaravinda Das. So prior to this, Prabhupada was actually, very busy man. By the time he met Saraswati Thakur, he was already married. He was working for Bose Laboratories. Prabhupada said, ever since he met Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he would always think of him. The bhakti is in the very safe hands. And a few times he did meet him. One time when was the time? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he arranged, what is that? Vrindavan Parikrama, Brajmandal Parikrama, Vrindavan Yatra. So Prabhupada went. On the last day, they made an announcement. Today we are going to Seshasai Vishnu Temple. If you all want, you can go there. Or today, spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is lecturing. You have a choice. You want to go and take care of darshan, or you want to listen from him. Majority of the people left. Few sannyasis, they were staying. Prabhupada thought, what will I do? Seeing the deity, I can't understand anything. Let me listen from him. So people were coming and going. They're sitting for a few minutes, listening and going. But the one person who sat there with rapt attention and listened the entire entire lecture was Abhay Charanaravinda Prabhu, our Srila Prabhupada. Then, when Saraswati Thakur came to establish Gaudiya Math in Allahabad, when Prabhupada was recommended, Saraswati Thakur said, I identified him. He's a very good listener. I'll initiate him. Actually, Prabhupada received first initiation and second initiation together. And later Srila Prabhupada, what is that? And Vyasa Puja, actually, they tried to establish one more Gaudiya Math in Mumbai. So that time Prabhupada, for his to establish business in Mumbai, Prabhupada was in Mumbai. Prabhupada helped them actually. Prabhupada was very instrumental in establishing Gaudiya Math in Mumbai. And Bhakti Saranga Maharaj and Bhakti Raksha Sridhar Maharaj, they were so happy. They went and told Saraswati Thakur, this Abhay Babu is amazing. He has a lot of business acquaintances, introduced all of them to us, and he's a good preacher. Why don't you ask them to do full time. Why didn't you ask him to take over the presidentship of this temple? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, we don't need to disturb him right now. He will eventually do everything. He will eventually do everything. Wow. So, um, so Saraswati Thakur knew who is going to do what, you know. So what is that? Um, then there is a Jagabandhu Prabhu. He is the one, a grihastha, a married man. To please his Guru Maharaj, he sold everything. He sold his entire property, including his home, and he constructed this Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Math. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was so glad, so happy for his service, for his sacrifice. Many times he mentioned this, and he showered his grace on him. And he told him, "You come and stay in the temple," because he had no home to stay even. I went to see that place actually. Actually, it is from that building Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur disappeared from this world actually. You know. So what is that? Few things. One day Srila Prabhupada, now he is initiated. Prabhupada wrote a letter to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. I am very Guru Maharaj, I am a married man, I am a grihastha, and you are a sannyasi. You are always surrounded by sannyasis. I want to personally serve you. How can I please you? That time, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was in Puri. He was very sick. I'm sorry, he was not very sick, he was sick. Immediately, Prabhupada got the letter reply back. He said, you preach in English language all over the world. This will do good to you and to the people to whom you preach to. Wow. That is an instruction he got first when he met. That is an instruction he got at the end. And 2 weeks later, Prabhupada came to know Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur left the world. So Saraswati Thakur recommended all the Vaishnavas to read the books. Chaitanya Bhagavat by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Dasamula Siksha by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Prema Bhakti Chandrika, Narottam Das Thakur. Sri Krishna Bhajanamrita by Narahari Sarkar. And Prarthana by Narottam Das Thakur. Upadeshamrita by Rupa Goswami. I want to read something for you actually. This is Saraswati Thakur's words. With the utmost enthusiasm, preach the message of Rupa and Raghunath. Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami. Our ultimate goal is to become a speck of dust touching the lotus feet of followers of Rupa Goswami. All of you remain united in allegiance to the spiritual master in order to satisfy the senses of the transcendental entity of non-dual knowledge, Krishna. Do not give up the worship of Hari, even amidst hundreds of dangers, hundreds of insults, or hundreds of persecutions. Do not become unenthusiastic upon seeing that the majority of people in this world are not accepting the message of Krishna's pure worship, sincere worship. Never give up the glorification of the topics of Krishna. They are your own, they are your own personal bhajana and your very all and all. Being humble like a blade of grass and tolerant like a tree, constantly glorify Gaurahari. Constantly glorify Hari. Of course, Gaurahari also, Lord Chaitanya. You are listening, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
And I want to tell you this. In 1933, he gave a warning. You know, if our spiritual practices decrease, then our outlook will become like that of a materialist, and it will devour us. This is little heavy because those days the the standard was very high. Whatever sannyasis do for personal sense gratification should be done by going barefoot. Never using shoes, never use shoes nor conveyances. Wow. They should not even use vehicles. This is like 120 years ago I was giving information. They should never accept service from another. They should never engage anyone to rub their body with oil or massage their feet. Making independent arrangements for eating is not good. A sannyasi residing within a mutt should give the mentality, I am to be worshipped and served. That mentality should be given up. You stay in the mutt. Mutt means temple. You know, you stay in the mutt for the sake of serving others. Otherwise, go home. Luxurious eating should be luxurious eating should be avoided. There is no need of bodybuilders to reside in mutt, nor should it be like a gentleman's club. Only devotees should stay. Strengthening the senses by by eating voraciously, eating that vitamin and this vitamin tablets, and trying to spread one's domination to attract others' wives should be entirely given up. We should always remember that Krishna is the only Lord and enjoyer of all, and that I am servant of everyone. There are many more instructions like that, you know, that were definitely heavy. What is that? Heavy in the sense, he always emphasizes on purity. There are so many stories. I was given only 1 hour time. It's almost 7 o'clock. So my thing is a powerful preacher, Simha Guru, and he left 1936, early morning 5 o'clock. Sorry, 19th, January 1st, early morning 5 o'clock. All the clocks in the Gaudiya Math stopped. So he wanted to spread the message of Lord Chaitanya. He wanted everyone to go back to Godhead. He prayed for all of us. He prayed for the people whom he would never see. That is his causeless mercy. So Prabhupada was asked, why are you doing all these things? Prabhupada said, I am doing these things to please my Guru Maharaj. One time Neurondan, they start calling Prabhupada Krishna. Prabhupada heard that. Prabhupada is in India. Prabhupada said, no, I'm not Krishna. Then there somebody asked, who are you, Prabhupada? Prabhupada said, I am servant of my Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. That is bhakti. That is bhakti. That's when Prabhupada wrote, Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Prachara, Nirviseshunyadi Paschat Dishatarane. That Saraswati is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. You know? So established with no money, established 64 Gaudiya Maths, initiated 60,000 people, and one of his 60,000 disciples is Srila Prabhupada, who spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. So we should also take up the process seriously and give Krishna diligently and spread Krishna consciousness all over the world as much as possible, not all over the world, at least America or neighboring places, tirelessly. Thank you very much. Spoken anything wrong, do excuse me as your humble servant. Very grateful for your patient audience. You know, thank you very much. And I don't know your name, Matji. Very grateful to you. And grateful to Patpan Balram Prabhu. Thank you. Grateful to all of you for your presence. Do excuse me as your humble servant if I have spoken anything wrong. Very grateful for your patient audience. Thank you.
No, Prabhuji, thank you so much for your time. It is very inspiring, and thank you for your. I know we know you're very busy, and thank you for taking time for us and telling about. We learned, at least from myself, I came to know a lot of things which I did not know before about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Thank you for sharing and inspiring us. Appreciate your time. Kunjali Mataji, you want to add anything?
I also appreciate you very much, Prabhu. And I was just reflecting that if Bhaktisiddhanta had not taken that risk with that building, even though he didn't have enough money, Srila Prabhupada wouldn't have came and met him 4 days later.
Sure.
So it's just you never know who's out there waiting.
Exactly.
So thank you very much. We definitely appreciate your time. Thank you.
So I'm ending now. And thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhaktisiddhanta
Yeah.
Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Thank you.